Finding your first client is one of the hardest challenges in becoming a virtual assistant, and in this video I am going to share with you the steps that you can follow in order to find your first client within 7 days or even less. Now let's get real. Finding a client as a beginner, as a newbie to virtual assistant is not easy. It's not an easy task and it takes time. And the strategy that I'm going to share with you will help you find your first client within 7 days, but that is provided you already know the skills that you are going to offer. You already have the skills that you are going to offer, because a big part of becoming a virtual assistant is learning the skills necessary, learning the skills needed to start operating as a virtual assistant. So this 7 days is not going to include learning the skills. You need to have the skills that you are going to offer as a virtual assistant before we start implementing this strategy. But if you don't know the skills that you are going to start offering as a virtual assistant yet, then stick around, because I'm going to share with you a way that you can follow in order to be clear and specific about the skills that you can start offering as a virtual assistant. Okay, finding your first client within 7 days has a lot to do with being aggressive. In order to find your first client, you have to put a lot more energy into finding your first client, and the steps that I'm going to share with you are going to take you a lot of time every single day within the first 7 days until you find your first client. So be prepared, be ready to work hard, be ready to be aggressive within the first 7 days in order to find your very first client. Okay, the first step is offer the right services. If you want to find your first client first, you need to offer the right service. Let me give you an example of a wrong service. When you start as a complete newbie to virtual assistant, some clients are going to feel uncomfortable with giving you some type of project. If you are a complete beginner, you have no previous experience, you haven't completed any previous jobs as a virtual assistant, you have no client reviews, you have no testimonials, then some client will feel uncomfortable with giving you a project like a software development project, because that is a project that requires an expert. And you as a complete beginner, it is going to be harder for you to find your first client. And also as a complete beginner, you don't have any credibility. So if you choose to offer something like project management, then it is going to take you a lot more time to find a client, because working as a project manager, you will need access to your client project management software, and some clients will feel uncomfortable with sharing that level of access to a complete beginner with no credibility. So the very first thing is you need to make sure you choose a right service to begin with. Also, if you choose a service that you have no skills in it, you don't know how to do, then you have to learn from the basics, you have to learn from the beginning, and learning alone is going to take you a lot more time in some services compared to other services. So one important tip is make sure to choose a service that does not require an expert, a service that also doesn't require too much access to your client business, something that a client is looking for someone to just save them time. Offer services that will save your client time. Something like data entry is going to save your client time. And also another important thing is try as much as possible to choose a service that doesn't have too much competition. Now, every service you choose to offer, there is competition, but some services have a lot more competition than some services. If you choose to offer just data entry service, then you are going to have a lot more competition than if you choose to offer something like vertical video editing. So you have to be strategic about the service you are going to offer. I recently did a video where I shared 5 skills that are suitable for new freelancers. You can just watch that video. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description of this video. So you can watch that video and be specific, be clear about the services that you are going to start offering as a virtual assistant. Okay, the next step after you choose a service that you are going to start offering as a virtual assistant is craft a compelling portfolio. Your portfolio is your storefront. Your portfolio is what your potential client are going to look at to evaluate your skills to determine whether they want to work with you or not. So try as much as possible, not just try, just make your portfolio look professional. And your portfolio is going to include a couple of things. First, you need to include your headshot, your nice smiling face, a nice smiling face with no noise in the background. Preferably have a plain background. Just make sure your headshot looks professional, and your portfolio should include your description, your name, the service you are offering, a full description of the service, a clear specific description of the services that you are offering as a virtual assistant. And also an important thing to include in your portfolio is work sample. A portfolio with a work sample is a lot more effective than a portfolio with no work sample. I know you are a complete beginner, you haven't completed any jobs previously, so that could be a challenge. And what you should do is, you should create sample project to include in your portfolio. What I mean by creating a sample project is, if you choose to do vertical video editing, just find some stock videos, find some stock videos online and edit the videos, add some captions, make it as nice as possible, make the edit as if a client hire you to do the job for them, and then include it in your portfolio. If you choose to become a content writer, then write some content, write some nice content and include in your portfolio. Whatever you choose to do as a virtual assistant, create sample, do the work as if a client hire you to do it for them, and include it in your portfolio. I also recently did a video on how to create an amazing portfolio as a complete beginner to freelancing. Freelancing, virtual assistant is all the same thing. There are some minor differences, so don't get confused when I say freelancer or virtual assistant. So you can watch that video and learn how to craft a compelling portfolio for yourself. Okay, the next thing after you create your portfolio is learn how to write a winning proposal. Proposal is what will start a conversation between you and your potential client. When a client posts a project on Upwork, Fiverr, or anywhere else, the cover letter that you write and send to them is your proposal. And your proposal is what is going to invite them to check out your profile. And your profile on a freelancing platform can serve as your portfolio. So if you learn how to write a winning proposal, then you have a higher chance of getting a response from your potential client. There are many tips on how to write a winning proposal. And I recently did a video on how to write a winning proposal as a new freelancer virtual assistant. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description of this video, so you can watch that video and learn how to write a winning proposal that can start a conversation between you and your potential client. Okay, when you learn how to write a winning proposal, the next thing is be aggressive. And what I mean by being aggressive is send as many proposals as you can every single day. If you choose to work on Upwork, I recommend you work on Upwork if you are a complete beginner and you are offering virtual assistant services. Send as many proposals as you can. When you sign up as a new freelancer on Upwork, you are going to get, I think, 40 connects or 80 connect. So utilize that connect, send as many proposals as you can every single day. And if you want to increase your chances of getting client fast, buy more connect. Buy more connect on Upwork and send more proposals, because the more proposals you send, the higher your chances of getting your first client. But don't just keep sending proposals. If you keep sending proposals to the wrong jobs, then you are not going to get the job. So learn also how to apply for jobs the right way. There are right ways to apply for jobs and there are wrong ways. And if you send your proposal to wrong jobs, then it doesn't matter if you send 100 proposals, you are not going to get the job. And the very first thing you should keep in mind when sending your proposal is only send your proposals to jobs that you have a higher chance of getting. And the way to do this is, first make sure before you send your proposals, you read the job description carefully and you understand the requirement and you can deliver the job. When clients post a project on Upwork, they are going to specify whether they are looking for an expert freelancer or intermediate freelancer or beginner freelancer. You as a complete beginner to virtual assistant, if you send your proposal to a client who is looking for an expert virtual assistant, then you just wasted your time. You are not going to get the job. And some clients are going to specify they are looking for a freelancer virtual assistant who speak more than one language. Also, some clients, when they post a project, they are going to specify that they are looking for a virtual assistant in specific countries. And if you are not living in that country, when you send your proposal, you also just wasted your time. So learn how to apply for jobs the right way. I also have a tutorial on how to apply for jobs the right way on Upwork. I am going to put a link to that tutorial in the description of this video, so you can watch that video and learn how to apply for jobs the right way. Finding your first client within 7 days has a lot to do with your effort. The more effort you put into finding your first client, the faster your chances of getting your first client. And a quick note, if you didn't find your first client within 7 days, don't give up. Sometimes it takes time, and it generally takes time for you to learn new things. And you are going to make mistakes when you are just getting started. And that's the only way to learn. You will make mistakes and you will identify your mistakes and you will do better. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and I will see you in the next video.